Okay, welcome back again and again. Thank you so much for your support and watching these wonderful videos. Welcome to the channel. This is a 1984 C4 Corvette. We have wide-bodied. We're now LS swapping. We're turboing it, and we're 6-speed swapping it, and carboning everything. So, yeah, this has been a 4-year project. It has been the best project, and it's been a lot of fun, But today might not be so much fun. We're gonna find out here soon. We've got resin on. I'm gonna spare you all of the sanding and whatnot. We'll leave this for now. It needs to dry. Emily so kindly came and helped us, and she will continue to help, I guess, as long as I'm nice to her. So what we're doing today is starting with the transmission. We're going to get it up on a table. We're going to start taking it apart and having a look at its condition, drain it, and then we need to convert it from an LT to a T56 for an LS. This is our T56 Borg-Warner transmission. It's a 6-speed, and from what I understand, it's from a 95-ish Camaro, so an F body. We're going to mate it up to this LS and put it in this C4 Corvette. Now, if you know anything about C4 Corvettes, there's no transmission mount, let's say per se at the back, like, you know, to the body. So this needs to be converted or modified to mate up with that torque tube or that torque bar, which we have a friend Andrew coming by to give us a hand with that. So we're not there yet, so we're gonna just move on. I already checked it. It's empty, which is great. There was some nice fluid in it. It didn't stink, so we're one up for hopefully it's good. I bought this transmission used. It came with an LT engine, which we were gonna put an LT engine in the car until we decided we weren't gonna do that, and that an LT was old news, and that an LS was probably the best way to go. So we're gonna take this thing apart. Now I have to convert this from an LT to an LS, which involves removing this bell housing and this front plate here. So I do have new ones of those, and I will show you those here in a second.
I have a question for you.
Question?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do they make holy water?
How do they make holy water?
Yeah.
Don't know.
They boil the hell out of it.
Well, I'm out of here. So here we have a new bell housing. Really nice piece of equipment. This is from AMP, not sponsored, but they sell this conversion kit on eBay, and they have an online store as well. If you're looking to do something like this, reach out and have a look. They have some really nice stuff, and we're going to use it. So this is to replace that. It looks oddly familiar or similar, but there we go. And this new front plate as well. So very nice, same manufacturer, AMP. It comes with seals already and provision as well for the LS style hydraulic clutch, which I have there from GM. So we're going to replace both of these, and this will allow us to bolt this up to this engine. Now, there is a slight issue. This is a new input shaft as well. So it's very loud. The input shaft on the Corvette, or the LT, I believe, is shorter than this or longer. I'm not sure. I will compare when I pull the other one out. This also has to change because this, or the LT, does not fit into the engine. So we need to add this. And in doing that, we will have a nice, fun transmission like this. How fun is that? So this kit also comes with various shims and things to allow this to have zero lash, and hopefully we'll be able to figure that out and do that as well. So I've seen a couple videos on the YouTube space on how to do this, and we're going to follow someone and follow along how they do it. For now, we're just going to start taking it apart and have a look inside of as much as we can. I've got a new shifter as well, which we're going to change. Could be short throw. Anyway, we're going to have a look at it and see if we want to change it. It's just an eBay special, but it's nice, beefy. It got some good reviews, but I'm not sure quite how it's going to work, so we'll figure that out. Also, the Haltech comes with a T56 wiring harness, and we will see exactly what is going to be used on here through that transmission. I'm not too familiar with these things. There's a bunch of stuff on the side. One of the sensors got broken from, I guess, the previous owner, but either way, he says it ran, it moved. That's all we're going on. So fingers crossed it will allow us to move more than once, or at least at all. So we'll go ahead and take these belt housing bolts off. They're 17 mil, and we'll start there. Just get into it. All right. Well, it doesn't look that bad. It actually looks pretty clean inside. No gunk in the fluid, nothing like that. So pretty stoked about that. I went through all the gears. Everything seems to be working fine. There's no wear on any of these teeth. Like, I don't know. It's crossing my fingers. I don't know what's behind here. Obviously, there's some more stuff back there. but maybe when I pull off one of those covers back there, we'll have another look. Now, as you can see here, this input shaft is for the LS. Now, this is the same diameter. I believe it looks like the same input shaft teeth, which is great, but the shaft is longer. So the thing I did read with the LS engine is that the pilot bearing is inside a little further than the LT. So this will help. This will help indeed. So what I'm going to do is clean off all this RTV and whatnot. And then we're going to do some brake clean it off. And we'll get that cover on here. We're going to do a couple dry fits and make sure that this lash is 0. So the lash is supposed to be 0 to like 0.01 or something. Very minimal, if at all any. So I do have some shims. I do have some things I can add if need be, but I'm praying that this will be just fine. Now, normally you would do this with the transmission sitting up, but I don't really have the means at the moment to do that. And this is going to have to do. It's solid. Everything's fine. I'll get this cleaned up and we'll try and fit this together. Okay, well, the battery died and you didn't get to see me clean stuff, so that's too bad. I just want to make note of a couple things. There is some bearing races. Oh, that one's not coming out, but there are some bearing races that are required. Now, the kit comes with one for the input shaft, but you need to rescue the one out of the old cover for this other bearing here. Also in the other cover is a sleeve or shim, which I've used. I have already test fit this, and it's perfect, like absolutely perfect. So great. Don't need any more shims. This shim works fine. Oof, fits so nice. So now we're gonna RTV this, put it around, slap it together, and yeah, send it. So now we're gonna put this back together. The only thing is you need to be careful. This rod right here that moves this other rod, I get an RTV in my fingers, is that rod needs to move. If you start messing around with it, it'll lock down in place and then you won't be able to move it. So up, out the way, and you put this in the cover first, then kind of wiggle this around. There's 2 dowel pins. Put the dowels in, shimmy, 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 and we put it together. So I've got all this stuff together. Here's the new input shaft. We're gonna slide this into the cover ever so carefully, not to damage the seal. Put it through the seal and pray to God. So we'll put this in here like this. This one goes in here. I just got RTV all over my arm. That's gross. Okay. All good. Shove that in there. That is the new piece. Okay. Clutch setting tool. Oh, we have our spring plate or pressure plate, whatever you want to call it. Over there. And this is nice. A carbon ceramic type disc. So it's a stage 3 plus. I know we were kind of concerned about it being stage 3, but because it's a full plate, I am told that this should allow us to have better drivability in the city, make it a little more drivable instead of it just being track and grab and go. So lots of grip, but very functional. So we slip this clutch tool in here, get the schmutz out of here, and I've already cleaned this and degreased it. We're now ready to go because the pilot bearing is also in there, and we're going to add this like this. There we go. Beautiful. And have some new bolts. We're going to use a little bit of Loctite. And we have a shim and a new throw bearing for this portion, which we are going to start and do some measurements. I watched plenty of videos, so I'm an expert now, and we're going to do that as well. Easy peasy. Where's my Loctite? It's part day. We got parts. We got parts. And fancy magnets as well. We've ordered some T56 stuff. We have a plug. That's nice. We have a sensor for, what is this? This is for reverse. Goes with this plug. We have a new seal for the rear because the rear seal was too big and not the same size. Huh? And this appears to be correct. Yes. Good. And a reverse lockout solenoid. Wow. Woo. So this doesn't allow you to shift into reverse accidentally. I do have this receptacle coming as well at some point. It was a little hard to find because I don't have the wiring harness for this. And the Haltech only takes care of the vehicle speed sensor. So when you apply 12 volts to this, it pulls this in. When you go in reverse, you're pushing the shifter this way, which in turn pushes the lever this way. If this is not activated, it will not allow you to shift into reverse. Now some cars have the little lever, the little thing. This is electric and controlled by the computer, which is no longer existent in the car. So, to avoid shifting into reverse instead of fifth gear while we're driving down the street, this is what we're using. Now we have to be creative on how we are going to connect this and when to activate this. So that will come in a later video when we set up the Haltech system, but I think I have a plan. Now we're here, not the right size. I think we need 13. This one, maybe. Yes. May have worked, but I couldn't get it to activate. So instead, it will be replaced. And we will research it a little more and figure out why that happened. But the inside's nice and smooth. Ew. Okay. There we go. Now, people bypass this, but we are not going to do that. Safety first. Wonderful. Okay, third time going to get a socket. Here we go. Look at that, 22 mils. It's already got some white goop on it. There we go, put her in the hole. Perfect. This plugs on here like this. Ready to be wired for reversing funness. Picked up a GM slave cylinder. You know, keeping with the GM theme. I've removed the spring from the throw bearing. What I'm going to do is replace the stock one with the one from SPEC clutch. We'll see what happens. This one kind of feels wobbly. This one's nice and it's smooth, but doesn't have any play really, which is nice. So I ran into an issue. This goes on here and bolts into its position. Now this obviously is not long enough to go at the hole. So I don't think I got the wrong slave. Obviously I got the wrong line on this slave, but yeah, that's going to change. So I have new lines coming. We're going to extend them out so they're easier to bleed. And also because I might not be running this fancy quick connect thing, it'll be just a standard brake or hydraulic line instead to connect to whatever I choose as a pedal. So we haven't decided that yet. So we're going to bolt this to here. That needs to go down. And then we are going to measure on a straight edge the distance between here and here. And we take this measurement and write it down. And we take another measurement from the bell housing to the little fins that this sits on. And we'll get back to you. Straight edge of plastic on here. Should be fine. We're gonna zero and measure the distance between here, oops, and here. Okay, we went from there. What the? Now we measure the thickness of this thing. 0.23. 2.23 minus 0.23 is 2. Now over to the fun music maker. This goes on here, and we want to find the distance between this face and these thingamajiggers. I believe we want as close to 2 inches as possible. So this way, we have enough throw on the bearing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you do.
You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get at it. Pitter pat it. Okay, so we're going across somewhere in the center-ish, and we're going to test on one of these fins things. Oh, we're already, I think, too much. Let's see. Start pushing in. Keep it flat. Whoop. 2.3.38 plus, right? 2.44 plus 2.23 equals 7.05. If I divide that by 3, I get 2.35. 2.35 is the average. We'll take an average. Then we have to minus 0.23, which is the thickness of the thing, which equals 2.12. Which would give us 0.12 of difference between this and the bearing all the way in. According to these folks, measurement A should be less than measurement B by at least 0.175. So I'm getting 0.12. Ideal spacing is between 0.2 and 0.25. Meaning we're too close? Perhaps. Now, our friends from SPEC Clutch have included this spacer, which is 0.14. Sorry, 0.114. So if it's 0.11, I can't do math. Let's do this. Plus 0.11 equals 0.23. Meaning, according to the manufacturer's specifications of this wonderful clutch, we need to add the spacer, and we'll be A-OK. We will then have 0.23, which is between 0.2 and 0.250. Man, I love when a plan comes together. Get the spacer guy, and we slide this on. Ta-ding! And that goes in place right there. Now, this has a nice little lip and bezel around it, which I really like. This does not, unfortunately, but here's what it is. These bolt holes don't line up, so it's this and this. This does, however, fit in here, so we do have a little bit of a leeway there. So there's it. Goes there, this goes on, but these lines have to come off. But we don't have the new ones yet, so I'll leave them on. And then we replace the spring, tighten it down, and it can go on the engine. Because you don't want to be messing with this while it's attached to the engine, because you'll never get to it. And now, the fun part. We have to make this fit on this. So this, as you know or may not know, it runs underneath the car from front to back. So this rear of this runs to the differential, and this ran to the old transmission, which was on the side like so. And this is what mounts the transmission on the car, basically, because there's no center transmission mount on this car. We could add one, but part of the floor is fiberglass, and we don't want to attach the transmission to fiberglass, do we? No, we do not. So we have a friend coming, a local friend. He's building a very cool RX-7. Maybe I'll get a chance to go over there and have a look and show you guys. But he is a fabricator and makes all kinds of fun stuff out of brass and copper. We're not going to make this out of brass and copper, but he's going to come over here and give me a hand. And we're going to create something to make this work. They used to have a kit that you could buy. They do have one as well. I think there's still one available for a C4 Corvette to convert to T56, ZF6, whatever else you want to convert to. But the brackets are all bolted together and it's flimsy, and with the power we're going to run on this, it needs to be solid. So I'm going to send him some pictures, get him inspired. Maybe he will come up with some cool ideas. We'll get that off to him. Well, I still have to wait for the lines anyway. And then we're going to unwrap this beauty and get to sanding and recoating. Also, I had a line on a new ICT billet front accessory drive. As you have seen, this is coming up in future videos, obviously, but there's no belt tensioner. So the belt tensioner used to go on the water pump. Now Jeff has given us a water pump to use. However, I found a water manifold that I'm going to use because I'd like to relocate the radiator somewhere else and put an electric pump, and we'll free up some space in the front, you know, draw some attention to the engine and also give us some more room for activities up front. So in doing that, I don't have any way to tension this belt because the old manual tensioner bolted onto the water pump in this area kind of over here. So the kind folks at ICT Billet, I reached out to a guy named Josh, yeah, awesome guy. They're not sponsored, but we did invest a serious amount of money in their products. So they are very happy to help us. They love the car, and we're gonna try and push to maybe for the next build, something like that. Either way, I need to send these back. They're gonna send us a brand new mount that just came out. It's actually not even released yet. And we are gonna put it on the car. It has power steering pump, the alternator, the idler pulley, and a tensioner all on one side. So we don't have to worry about anything. They also have a water manifold that they just released. Super nice, very nice. So I get these off, ship them out, and we have to wait for that to come. But we're gonna focus on this. We need to get that done. And this is going on this, and then going in there. And then we finally got into the fun part. There's a little pin inside of here where you punch this out, this one right here, and then you can add one of these nice fittings in there instead, which becomes a 3AN. And I'll add this 40-inch or 42-inch, whatever this is here, 3N to 3N line. And this will go in here and run up and into the slave, or sorry, the master that we're going to use. So I have some punches, I've got some fittings, and the bleeder is also inside the transmission. I don't know how you would bleed this without this liquid running all down inside the belt housing. So we have a fitting to convert that to this brake line, or whatever line this is. I think this is, yeah, just a regular brake line. And then the bleeder is here remote, so then we can find a nice place for it and tie it up. But that's what we're going to do right now, get these together, and then this can go on there. Yeah, there it is. So we get rid of that. And then we add this into the hole. Wow, look at that. Oh. this pin right back in. Easy as that. And then this line goes on here like that. Look at that. It is mated. Like two cats in the backyard. Look at that. Works good. Works good. It fit nice. It fit nice. It was a little tight. There's some dowels here on the side you got to be careful of. So I had to kind of turn it a bit and wiggle it. But it went together pretty smooth. Didn't force anything. Everything was fine. This wheelie chair really worked out nice. And turn the engine over. Also marked on the back with some paint pen. Seems to move. So I guess the clutch is working, sort of, for 1/2 rotation. So yeah, now I just need to torque those bolts down. I still need to put 2 more on the bottom, which I can't get to at the moment. Then I got to move this somewhere and put it kind of out of the way. Or maybe just leave it there. I'm not quite sure, but man, that is, it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. It is ready to go in the car. Now on to wet sanding this pig. It's pretty smooth, but not smooth enough. So we'll get to that. I do have some touch-up paint to do on the engine block, a little bit here and there, so we'll get all that done. We'll shove it in.